is Professor Griff. Tune in every weeknight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on youtube.com/C/Sirius Mindz RNTV. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Sirius Mindz for Sirius Minds. Seriously. Peace.
Open your eyes to the endless possibilities of creating from your centerpiece. Experience your visions brought into reality and watch your dreams unfold naturally. If pictures are worth 1,000 words, let's create a story that's a masterpiece. Casso Visions. Capture your visions. Open your eyes to the
You just turn around, turn the other cheek, and make a statement. He remind me of Steve Harvey. I don't know what slavery was. I wasn't there. I mean, little ignorant comments like that, you got to give them a side eye. And that's how I am.
So in other words, you're feeling like you've lost all respect and credibility from Jay-Z.
Yes,
right?
if he goes back and sit down and see exactly what we did to get to where we at, and we still struggling. I mean, the Star Spangled Banner song is disrespectful. Everything you see every day, and you raising girls and boys. So I don't know what he's thinking. Dollar is gonna get you, but so far.
Okay, Alex, what's your take on it?
Now my mind is really turning. I'm just thinking, I mean, to be fair, look at society. This is still a very white supremacist nation on many ends. I mean, even though there's integration and things seem so different, people living in Africa looking over here and people living in London looking over here see how it really is. What do we want them to do? You know what I'm saying? And we don't really know where their mind is at. They can only do so much. So I don't want to be like, yeah, do this or else we not, you see what I'm saying? But at the day, more needs to be done. More needs to be done. Why not say, hey, with my position now over the music department, I will say the NFL was wrong for sitting down Colin, and not allowing him to work due to protesting. Just that. And then say, you know what? Instead of kneeling, this is what we're going to do. And then say it. I just don't think that it was right for Colin to go hard that whole time. And he's doing things in the back end with activism and working with the communities and things of that nature. He should have been a part of that. And then for him to do that song too, ape shit with Beyonce, you know, I said no to the Super Bowl. Y'all need me. I don't.
Peace, peace. Hey, Carrie, how are you? Carrie? Peace, ladies. How y'all doing today?
Peace, Quan. How you doing?
Doing well. Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to the Sirius Mindz chat. Thank you for participating and chiming in on the Sista Cypha here tonight. I have with me Alex Little and Cat Boogie, and I'm Quan. We like to welcome you and ask that you hit the like button, subscribe, and share if you would like to donate to the super chat, or you can hit up Professor Griff on PayPal or Cash App to support the platform. And tonight we're going to be discussing the Jay-Z NFL deal. So there's a lot happening with this deal, and I think it's important that we discuss this topic tonight to get a better understanding of activism. And so recently, Jay-Z had a deal with the NFL, and it's been under a lot of fire since it was announced this past week. Basically, it was a partnership between the rap mogul Roc Nation Sports and the NFL to manage some of the league's entertainment and social justice ventures. And in this forum, they basically had a number of people questioning them when it came to Colin Kaepernick, who Jay-Z had supported against the NFL in the past. And so there's been a lot of scrutiny lately because obviously Kaepernick was not involved in this process. And I just want to read from this article and pull from it, and then I'm going to start asking some questions from you ladies. So Jay-Z's deal with the NFL, basically he said that it wasn't about selling out. According to the hip hop mogul, he said instead it is to harness the league's powerful platform to tackle issues like racial injustice head on. Jay-Z also was hit with criticism over his new partnership with the league he had blasted for its treatment of Kaepernick, who hasn't had a job since taking a knee during the national anthem. Jay-Z said before announcing the deal that he talked to Kaepernick but would not divulge what was said in the conversation with Kaepernick. Jay-Z also reportedly claimed he spoke to Kaepernick about the multi-million-dollar settlement deal from the NFL in February, in which Kaepernick's girlfriend said was a lie. And on last Wednesday, they quoted him when Charlemagne asked him a question about his stance with Kaepernick, and he said, quote, "I think we're past kneeling. I think it's time to go into action. Kneeling, I know we are stuck on because it's a real thing. It's a form of protest. I support protests across the board, but everyone knows what the issue is now. So what are we going to do about it?" The kneeling wasn't about Colin not having a job. It was about social injustice. So now how do we deal with injustice? What is the way forward? And with the Jay-Z defending the deal, he added, "For me, this is action. What are we going to do together? Or will we get stuck on Colin not having a job?" So there are many sources that are saying Jay-Z had reportedly lobbied rapper Travis Scott to drop out of the Super Bowl halftime show because of the NFL's treatment of Kaepernick. And now he's associating himself with the league more than Travis Scott did during that time. And he's basically saying that we're past kneeling. And now there's a lot of people putting pressure on Jay-Z to actually deliver change rather just, being a figurehead for the NFL league. And the NBC is now reporting that the NFL will consult with Jay-Z Roc Nation on everything from the Super Bowl halftime show, in which he will be the co-producer, and also consult with him when it's concerning strengthening the Black community. And they're calling this whole movement an entertainment and social justice partnership, which really doesn't make sense to me. But on the flip side, there's a lot of people who are not too happy with the deal that Jay-Z made with the NFL. Case in point, Eric Reed. You know, if for those who don't know who Eric Reed is, he actually plays for the Carolina Panthers. He's a safety, and he's also Kaepernick's best friend. And he also partook in the protests during that time when Kaepernick was actually taking a knee. And he blasted Jay-Z's move by saying that, you know, let me read the quote because I want to get it exact. Reed said, who went unsigned for an entire offseason after kneeling in the protest, had particularly contempt for Jay-Z's past kneeling comment. Eric Reed is quoted as saying, when has Jay-Z ever taken a knee? Yes, he's done a lot of great work, a lot of social justice work, but for you to get paid to go into the NFL press conference and say that we're past kneeling, again, is asinine. He got paid to take bullets that he's taking now because we're not having it. Jay-Z claimed to be a supporter of Colin, but he also wore his jersey. He told people not to perform in a Super Bowl because of the treatment that the NFL did to Colin. Now he's going to take part as owner, and it's despicable. He also was quoted by saying, Jay-Z claimed to be a supporter of Colin, but, hold on, just give me a sec. But I think he's being despicable. I mean, Jay did once say he was a Black Republican, and I think right now he should fit right on in with his new homies. He actually said that the both are not mutually exclusive. They cannot both happen at the same time. It looks like Jay-Z's goal to make millions of dollars by assisting the NFL to bury Colin's career is the ultimate goal. So ladies, I want to ask you, you know, what's your stance on Jay-Z's taking a deal with the NFL? Do you see the Jay-Z's of the world as an agent of change or activists?
Hello, you can hear me?
Go ahead, Carrie.
Okay. Greeting everyone. I would just like to state that I always wanted to go back to the root of everything. What does activism mean? I mean, Jay-Z forefront, he's just all about business. I understand that he wants to make money and put his name out there, but in the end of the game, you have to realize that we struggle a lot. Turning the other cheek, I don't think that was a great idea. You have to remember that we are the one who made him where he is at today. If it wasn't for us buying his music, just being out there saying he's a great artist, I think he's just turning the other cheeks, turning back on us, and I don't consider him a great role model. I don't think he's for us. I don't think he has us in mind. And it's one thing to want to be rich, powerful, and there's another to actually get there and forget about everyone who brought you there. So I'm very disappointed by him as a Black man, as a person who came from the community. I mean, I also remind myself constantly that he did sell drugs to his own people. Therefore, he's at fair game. He doesn't care. Whatever he has to do to get to the top, he's going to get there.
What's your take on it, Alex?
My blood is boiling. I just think the last portion that you ended from Eric Reed's quote, bury Colin's career, said enough. Peace, Sirius Mindz family. Peace, Professor Griff. I think it's crazy. I've listened to several different YouTube channels and platforms with different perspectives, some for it, some against it. But what I feel is I just don't understand why we think it's over. We're past that. We're past what? Yeah, social injustice is one issue, but the main issue is police brutality. You see what I'm saying? You can't take somebody's way of protesting or just, we're not going to do it that way. And then what does him controlling the music realm within the NFL have to do with our political stance economically as a union? You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I want to see the blueprint of what this is going to produce for the Black community, politically. Like, what's going to happen economically? I mean, it just sounds like from now, he's just over the music. So he gets to pick who's at the Super Bowl. He gets to pick what's played. There's some little educational endeavors in the background. But what are they? Is it enough to create change? If we're past kneeling and protesting, and we know what the issue is of social injustice, in addition to police brutality, what are you going to do specifically for our people to create change? That's what I want to know. And not only that, but why didn't Kaepernick get included in the deal? It was him at the forefront that lost his job. When you sign a $20 million deal, you're getting $1 million every 2 weeks. So could you imagine how he feels? So for me, it's like, dang, you know, and I'm a Jay-Z fan. I've been listening to his music since 96. You know what I'm saying? But this right here, I just don't think it's specifically the best thing for our people politically. But we'll see. We'll have to see how it plays out.
But I have to say also one thing before we go further. What's going to happen to those who are under his label? Those people that look like you and me, who Rihanna. What happens if she protests against him? What stand will he take? How are you representing us, and what you're going to do to us if we go against you? That's another thing I'm worried about. Because you hire people of color in your label. They're the one that's singing, performing. It's not the white people. It's us. So what would you do to us if we decide tomorrow, you know what, I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to say, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not singing the Star Spangled Banner. I'm not doing this and this and that. What he needs to pick and choose. You can't just go both ways, Jay-Z. It's either you stand for something or you stand for nothing. That's just my take.
Yeah, that's a powerful statement. And real quick, you know, there were a couple of his artists that spoke out. J. Cole spoke out. You know what I'm saying? Rihanna, she liked what other people had to say in opposition of Jay-Z. But at the end of the day, he's an entertainer. You see what I'm saying? And it's not that entertainers can't have voices and can't add to the political platform, because many have and many do in a constructive, effective way. I'm just interested in what changes are going to come about other than his pockets increasing. That's what I want to see.
Okay, so since we're on this whole idea of activism or being a Black activist or agent of change, I want to go into the description or definition of what that means. And basically it says that it's a person from the inside or outside of an organization who helps an organization transform itself by focusing on such matters as organizational effectiveness, improvement, development. It also changes the fabric of the organization, socio-economical status, and how they're perceived by the public. So ladies, do you think Jay-Z or any quote-unquote activists fit this definition? I mean, do you think we have a positive social change in the Black community when it comes to activism? And if so, how and by what example?
Well, I'll speak on that real quick. I mean, there are entertainers. Big Sean, I'm in Michigan. Big Sean was passing out turkeys. Small example, but he's putting his face out there in his hometown for the community, for the people, serving, doing community services. So are we talking about a micro level? Are we talking about a macro level? How much pull does Jay-Z have with this move? Because technically it's over the music, not the players. Now, it would have been nice if he would have, you know, bartered and got Coleman back employed. And it also would be nice if he had enough pull to maybe speak to team owners for each team in each state to have a community day once a month to where they give back, whether it's passing out water in impoverished communities, whether it's teaching birth control classes, whatever it is, you know what I mean? I'm really stuck on what is the benefit for the people and where is the social climate being effective in a positive manner behind him signing a deal, controlling the music.
So since you said that, do you think these strategies of the NFL's entertainment and social justice partnerships are effective for the Black community? I mean, is injustice of Black men being shot by the police just a ploy for the NFL to get ratings up with the Black community? I mean, because it seems like at the end of the day, this is the end goal from a business standpoint. It has not solved the social injustice when it comes to police killing our Black men and boys. So do you think that this is just a ploy, since you're saying, like, you know, what's the end game?
Right, because I don't see any, not to cut in, I don't see any social change like back in the 1960s. I mean, I don't see It's a big difference. In the 1960s, you had people taking a chance. You had Jesse Owens. I'm trying to remember Wilma Rudolph. You had Jackie Joyner Kersee. You had Jackie Robinson. These people actually went out. You had Muhammad Ali. They actually went on the forefront to state what they wanted, what social change they wanted within their community. He has not yet once said what he's going to do with whatever money he makes. What's the big secret? If you're going to make change, you have to state the change. That's just my opinion. You have to, especially when you're dealing with the elites. You can't just go there and put a pen to a paper and sign and make us believe that you're going to cause a change, you're going to cause an effect. You have to tell us. We don't want to be in the dark. And that's the problem that we have sometimes. We in the dark. You cutting business, you're doing side deals to benefit you and your family. I understand. We all want to make it up there. But at the end of the day, like I stated earlier, we are the ones who got you to where you at. Besides the business strategy or whatever, we deserve a little something. Something has to be told to us. And I'm not down with turn the other cheek. I'm not for it. And that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry,
Alex.
No, yeah, Carrie, that's good. And it's crazy too, because both perspectives, we don't know what Jay-Z has in mind, and we don't know what he does. I mean, there are so many entertainers that do so much on a personal level, that pay tuitions, that pay foreclosures, that buy city blocks. So we don't know what he's doing in the back end, and some of that might never come to light. So again, we don't know what can transpire behind us 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So it might not all be bad. However, again, voice the change that is in effect from the time you announced that decision on the 3rd year anniversary of his initial stance to protest by not standing up during the time to honor the country. So that's just what I'm stuck on. I just want to know, like, what's up, yo? What's up? Like, it just looks...
Right. He also prevented Travis Scott from performing. If you was with him at that time, I mean, you made it vocal that, you know what, don't perform. So now that you at this level, what are you going to do? I don't understand why he got to be so secretive about anything. If you don't want to say 100% what's in store, you owe us at least something, especially turning another black brother down and telling him, don't do this, don't do that. I mean, something. You can't keep us in the corner ever.
So since you brought up the civil rights movement,
yes.
Looking at what happened during the civil rights movement compared to this new quote unquote era of black activism, do you think the civil rights activists achieved their goals compared to what they're doing or what's happening today? I mean, because honestly, it's compared to what they did back then to what we're doing now, it's a complete 180. And do you think that this whole new black era of black activism is achieving their ultimate goal at the end of the day?
Well, it plays into social media for me. I mean, back then, it's like we was more vocal, like I stated earlier, and we were upfront with what we're going to do and how we're going to do things. I think social media has a way of turning things. We hear stuff like, oh, he's going to contribute 1 million to so-and-so. But then you hear something else. Like I said, sometimes we don't know what side people on. Back then, we knew up front, you know what, this is a cause that maybe we need to invest in. We need to put our things down, talk to our family, let the family know this is the angle. This is where he's coming from. This is where she's coming from. I think social media has a way of twisting things, but I don't know. Like I said, he owned 40/40, then he sell 40/40. He owns the Nets. Next thing I heard, he sold the Nets for a little percentage. He does a lot of side deals. He's not the only one, but I'm just saying social media has a way. I'm trying to go Googling, trying to figure out what else was said during the conference. You can't even hear anything because guess what? The NFL, they bought that. They sell it to themselves. They're not going to let anyone else, what else side deals was made. So I think social media has a way of doing it. I think the activism is totally different. Sometimes I feel like people just for self and they don't want to give back to the community or whoever. It's just little here, little there. Anything to keep us down. Anything to keep us quiet.
There is a lot of keyboard activists out there, especially the ones on Twitter and the gram. It seems like everybody's like pumping their fists behind keyboards and nobody's really hitting the pavement and really putting actions to all the words that they're saying. And just to say,
Exactly,
Jay-Z only owned 1/15 of a percentage of 1% of ownership when it came to the Nets, and that's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't have over 1% ownership, then basically all you are is a mascot. And I'm looking at it right now that he's just basically how white supremacy sees us as a people. Entertainment. They got him going to be producing this entertainment, and he's saying that he's going to be part ownership. And I almost guarantee that he's not going to have a quote unquote, you know, a power in a lot that's being said. He's just the front guy. And that's my biggest concern with this whole thing. It's like, no, they only put you in charge of entertainment, and that's how they see us. So what is that saying about you, Jay-Z?
Exactly. And then when the only reason they said he was going to get a majority stake was because all the noise that was coming behind us saying, you know, you a backstabber, you this, you that, and then all of a sudden newspaper front headlines.
Hold on, Carrie. No, they actually said this going into the meeting. They made the announcement before we got the backlash. So that announcement was actually made prior to them starting the meeting, that he was going to have quote unquote part ownership or a percentage of an ownership for an NFL team. So that was already in the making when they did this whole conference, this media conference. So they had it in mind, and I think they already knew it was going to be backlash from it. Okay. Because he, again, you know, I think at the end of the day, this was all a part of
plan.
What's your take on it, Alex?
Man, I don't know. This the part of me that's mad as hell, yo, because that's bold. Like, the whole point, like, I don't think anybody should be penalized for taking a knee. Did nobody burn no flag? Did nobody threaten nobody's life? He just did stand up. Why did he lose his job for not standing up? And why can't nobody else protest the way he did by taking a knee now? Because Jay-Z's over the music? What part of the game is that? I mean, if you say it like that, it sounds very, very silly. You see what I'm saying? And just because he's over the music and the entertainment department, what does that have to do with the police brutality in my neighborhood? Oh, that's great, you run the Super Bowl, but what about my mama and my daddy and my baby life over here? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, what type of educational endeavor does his signing detail? What is it?
So I just want to, a few days back we did a show with the Sista Cypha on principles over profits. And Monique was quoted by saying she has never in her life seen so many coward black men in the entertainment industry. And this deal with Jay-Z reminds me of her statement about Steve Harvey chasing money over having principles.
That's right, integrity, yes.
Right, and she was basically saying that there's a lot of black men not willing to stand on principle. And this whole NFL partnership reminds me of Monique when she said that there's a lot of cowards in this industry. And to me, Jay-Z did a whole lot of shucking and jiving and telling people, I'm with Cap, don't perform at the Super Bowl. And at the end of the day, this became a money bag grab for him. And as a woman, I'm asking myself, you know, what is Jay-Z saying to all the little future Kaepernicks or the future Jay-Z's out there? You know, is it okay to take the bag over principles? Is it okay to tell our kids that his method is the right way to do it? You know, is Jay-Z the new black face of what we consider black activism? You know, is it profits over principles? You know, I would love to know what's your take on this, ladies.
I'll slide in real quick. Cat Boogie, if you don't mind, I'll slide in real quick. It's ripe on my mind right now. I mean, great question, Quan. Principles over morals. Well, do we know what the principles are in our community? I mean, that ties back in with Professor Griff with the block code. Don't sleep there. You know what I'm saying? We need that blueprint to even have a foundation on how to operate and conduct ourselves. And shout out real quick to Master Fundi Fee out of Texas. She put me on a game and my family about the Prince. It's a Machiavelli book about the Prince that speaks specifically of principles and how to use principles over morals if you want to use that perspective. Because when you're dealing with principles, nothing matters. You get the job done, people get out of the way, you do what you need to do, and there is no such thing as good or bad. You straight make a move and you stay on top. But my question is, how much money do you need? How much money is enough? What is the top?
I don't think, honestly, if he's quote unquote this billionaire, it's like you don't need the money. They said that at $60 million, you can get basically everything you need, right? In this world.
It costs $1 billion to buy an NFL team now, and owning 1/15 of 1% of the Nets. How much rank did he really have there?
Yeah, he has no power. It's just basically, again, he's just a mascot. But what I want to do, ladies, is ask you this question. I want to take it from a female perspective because we're all ladies here, and you know, a lot of men are looking at it from, oh, it's a sports thing. Oh, you know, Jay-Z's the man or he's not the man. But I want to know, if Jay-Z was your husband or your boyfriend, would you support him in it still?
I know I couldn't. I mean, I love my people. I love money too, but I love my people more. And I'm not selling my soul for $1. I'm not doing it. This go way back like the slave catcher. Take whatever you can, get that black man, bring him back for $1 or $2. We're going backwards. That's how I see it. Backwards. We just suppressing our people for the $1. And I'm not doing it. I wouldn't.
What about you, Alex?
What? Can I skip the question? I mean, is he a good dad? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be tough. Well, we don't know Beyonce's stance. We don't know. We don't know what's happening. I would want to honor and love and cherish and respect and support my husband. However, if it came to a point to where I had to put my foot down with the foundation and principles and value system I abide by, with or without him, I have to say, you know, I love you, but you're wrong on this, and I don't support it. Does that take away from him being the best man for me and my family? That's different, but again, I like his music, but politically, I just think this was a poor decision. I think him having ownership, or however it's worded that I'm not saying correctly, over the NFL music department, I don't see how pulling out Colin from the situation and not including Eric Reed and Colin into it after it was their stance, removing them and saying we're past kneeling. Okay, well, what's the next step? What's the next step? Implement the next step before you change one.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you see what Jay-Z did as a power move or being weak? From a woman's standpoint, just look at him as a man.
Okay. Good,
bad, or indifferent, whether his decision made sense or not, do you see this as a power move or a weak move as a man?
I mean, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but our Sirius Mindz family, but for me, I would say power move.
So you think it's a power move?
I mean, for a black man to actually get in with the elites and shake hands with them and try to get a little something out of them, to look comfortable, to I guess, I would say it was a power move.
Now hold up, here I go in my bed. Okay. Here I go in my bed. Now,
go ahead.
Situation, Jay-Z got money in the bank already. He's already, quote unquote, got nearly $1 billion in the bank, own different types of businesses, already got money. We good. Our kids are good. Our kids' is good. And he makes this deal. Are you still saying it's a power move? Now remember, your sons and your daughters have to look up to this man now, and they're going to be making the same type of decisions as they grow up because they see mommy and daddy do it. So do you see this as a power or a weak move?
Well, now that you put it like that, it's a weak move.
Okay.
I changed it a little, not only because what you do, and now that you're putting children involved and they have to look up to that individual so they can move on and make bigger changes and, help us out. Yes, it's a weak move. because remember what I said earlier, I didn't agree with how he came into the business. First of all, I think he's being selfish for selfish reasons. I understand he want to get there, he want to make money, but he hurt a lot of people on his way to the top. So my understanding of him is that he doesn't care. He doesn't. I don't. He owns so many entities in sports, and his last goal was to get the NFL. So he did exactly what he wanted to do in order to get a real stake, no matter what.
Okay, what about you, Alex? You see this as a power move or as being weak as a man?
I think it's a power move, specifically only because it was a powerful move. I mean, if you just want to use wordplay. But real quick, I want to say, do you guys remember when Kanye West spoke out against Bush during Hurricane Katrina? He was doing a speech with Mike Myers, and he was like, Bush don't care about black people.
I remember that.
Remember how he used his political platform real quick to make it plain? I mean, I guess I'm still hopeful that something beneficial will come out of this other than silencing ways to protest, because the protest was so powerful. You see what it did. And I'm not dancing around the question. I'm just wondering, like, this has to be something tactful. It can't just be this bad. He has to have something else to do that's coming forward soon that's going to show us as a nation that it's for social justice and against police brutality, and hopefully the music he allows reflects that, if he's going to use entertainment as an option to voice being against it. But still, make sure you show and illustrate the percentage effectively of the educational social platforms that you're going to implement nationwide behind this deal. I want to see the change. I want to see the documented effectiveness, just like everybody else who makes deals like this, who are in the positions for leadership.
So now that you said that, obviously Jay-Z has made documentaries on Khalif Browder. He advocated for prison reform. He had a hand in getting Meek Mill out of prison, along with many other entertainment artists and more. But can we really say Jay-Z has credibility at this point? I mean, does Jay-Z have credibility now that he has made this partnership deal with the NFL? I mean, do you think Jay-Z is using black activism as a shield to make money off of black people? Or was it just all up front to get the money off of our emotions and our struggles, and at the end of the day, it's just all a ploy to get him more money in the bank?
Right, the rich is getting richer. You know how I feel already. I'm with, he's not for us. That's what I say. I think it's all about the dollar, and that's how he living. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. I dislike it when you're using what my people did to get to where they at. The struggles we did, we put ourselves out there, and then you just turn around, turn the other cheek, and make a statement. He remind me of Steve Harvey. I don't know what slavery was. I wasn't there. I mean, little ignorant comments like that, you got to give them a side eye, and that's how I am.
So in other words, you're feeling like you've lost all respect and credibility from Jay-Z.
Yes,
right?
if he goes back and sit down and see exactly what we did to get to where we at, and we still struggling. I mean, the Star Spangled Banner song is disrespectful. Everything you see every day, and you raising girls and boys. So I don't know what he's thinking. Dollar is gonna get you, but so far.
Okay, Alex, what's your take on it?
Now my mind is really turning. I'm just thinking, I mean, to be fair, look at society. This is still a very white supremacist nation on many ends. I mean, even though there's integration and things seem so different, people living in Africa looking over here and people living in London looking over here see how it really is. What do we want them to do? You know what I'm saying? And we don't really know where their mind is at. They can only do so much. So I don't want to be like, yeah, do this or else we not, you see what I'm saying? But at the day, more needs to be done. More needs to be done. Why not say, hey, with my position now over the music department, I will say the NFL was wrong for sitting down Colin, and not allowing him to work due to protesting. Just that. And then say, you know what? Instead of kneeling, this is what we're going to do. And then say it. I just don't think that it was right for Colin to go hard that whole time. And he's doing things in the back end with activism and working with the communities and things of that nature. He should have been a part of that. And then for him to do that song too, Ape Shit with Beyonce, you know, I said no to the Super Bowl. Y'all need me, I don't need you. And then, you know what I'm saying, telling Travis Scott not to do it. Now, was he being tactful because he knew he was going to be in a position to have them do it once he was over it?
Yep, I believe that.
I just look forward to seeing a beneficial, positive, effective outcome from this. Is there going to be some type of, I don't know. And then like Beyonce's performance, where she did his Formation, you can see, you know, Black Panther portions in it. But again, being more vocal, how much do we want entertainers to do? We can't anticipate them to raise our families and give these wholesome, hearty political messages because that's not what they're here to do, to be completely honest.
That's true.
However, for those that do take it above and speak out for social injustices and police brutality and other things, just being philanthropic overall, that's wonderful. So I just don't want to, you know, seem like Jay-Z some asshole, pardon me, but I do think that this one particular business deal, we need some more explanations, flat out. And I just don't see the benefit. It came off real sneaky. It just seemed like him having more money in his pocket for owning a music area. Again, what is it doing for our community economically, and how is it going to boost us and bring us politically into a union? So, principle-wise, maybe he did choose the bag over morals for this. However, what can we do from now, just as he said? What are we going to do next? That's what I would like to see. What's next now?
Well, I will say I'm looking at it from all aspects. And I do believe that maybe a small fraction of him is saying, yes, I want to help out my people and I want to be the voice of their concerns. However, I'm looking at it from the business side. And at the end of the day, he is, quote unquote, positioning himself so that he can profit. And so I think, yes, in a little bit of sense, he is losing some credibility, because the point to the fact that he left out Cap, right, out of this whole entire discussion, and I get it, he has a gag order on him. The NFL gave him a multi-million-dollar settlement, which we don't know how much that amount is,
right?
And he can't say anything about that whole transaction. So I get it's not much that Cap can really say publicly without being penalized and losing $1 million settlement. But at the same time, too, I think if he wanted to really show that he's honest about moving us forward as a people, then he should have had Cap at that conference with him saying, okay, look, this is what we're coming with. This is what we're going to be standing on. These are the measures that we're going to use to make sure that this does not happen again. And honestly, just the mere fact that he did it and just like, oh, well, like, you know, we're beyond kneeling. We're above that. No, motherfucker, excuse my language, but no, you're beyond that. We're still dying. As a matter of fact, this weekend, they just had another black man being killed, not only in Houston, but also in Colorado. That was shot and killed by a police officer. So yes, it's still happening. So no, we're not beyond kneeling. We're still where we were 3 years ago. Matter of fact, 460 years ago. You know, if we really want to get back to numbers. So it's like, I see it. Yes, I respect the fact that he took a stance and say, hey, I'm going to make a power move and make this decision that's going to position me and my family and my legacy. But at the same time, too, it's like, the way you did it, how you went about going through this process, it's like you have people looking at you side eye like, man, what's up? What's the deal? We had you. We were supporting you.
Right.
Man, look what you're doing with prison reform. Look what you're doing, like how you are bailing people out and setting up these quote unquote social injustice reforms and, you know, sending money to folks. And then you see the flip side of it. It's like, okay, Jay-Z, this doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. The 2 and 2 does not match. You can't say you're for social injustice and fighting for that platform, but yet you go sign a deal with the devils that are basically preventing one of your brothers from moving forward. It doesn't match. It doesn't add up, Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying?
And he's not alone. Right. He's not alone, because Rock Nation hired people of color. So there's a whole bunch of brothers and sisters who going right along dancing with him. So he's not by himself. I want to know what they think, how they go home, and what they tell their family.
So
because you're supporting this.
So I got one more question I want to pull out of my bag. I want to know, okay, what if Jay-Z was Beyonce in this situation? Will we still see this deal as the same perspective, being that she is a woman? Like, if this was Beyonce doing this, and she made this powerful move, by signing a deal with the NFL and saying that, hey, I'm going to be the face of social injustice reform. Will we feel the same way about Beyonce if she was a woman and all of this happened?
Great question. The way that was worded, though, I do not think that we would have the same attitude if Beyonce did the same thing. But I don't think that we perceive Jay-Z as the face of social justice reform. It would just be different because they're two different people. Again, what are we supposed to expect for them to do? They're entertainers. But at the same time, with that level and position, what do you do for your roots and for your people?
Exactly. Well said. I'm a feminist, and I don't believe I would probably give Beyonce a side eye as well. I don't see much that she does, unless somebody can prove me wrong.
She says hold up now. She says she's a feminist. She is quoted on wax as saying that she is a feminist.
Look that up. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah, she is very pro-feminist movement.
Well, how about this perspective? With her being pro-feminist, that's fantastic. But right now in 2019, she was just now the first Black female headliner for Coachella. So again, let's look at the history of the administration of the nation.
Well, and then another thing too, we as a people have to understand how the feminist movement actually worked.
Came about,
honestly, white women use the feminist movement, or Black people with the feminist movement, to prop themselves up, and then they turn around and shit it on us. If we can just keep it all the way a buck. So when people are saying feminist movement, when you look at what's going on right now, like the feminists are pushing this whole thing, this Me Too movement. This Me Too movement is putting Black men in jail, and they're calling them toxic masculinity, and saying, hey, they are the predators. And when you got all these white men like the Epsteins and all these other folks who are predators, Trump himself, the man who's supposedly running this damn country, and these people are not criminalizing white men. You see the R. Kellys and the Bill Cosbys as, quote unquote, the face of this Me Too movement. So that's why I'm very cautious about saying feminist, because I know the white women, they have used that in the past to basically, prop themselves up and to push their agenda. And on top of that, these are the mothers of these racist people. These are the mothers of the white supremacists. These are the women who are raising these quote unquote terrorist domestic people. You get what I'm saying? Like, they are the mothers. You gotta, people forget that. They forget that these are the women who raise them. They are the ones. I don't know, what's this comedian? I can't remember her name right now, but basically she said, you got to understand that these women, they help sew these KKK uniforms for them. You see them in a lot of pictures. They're sewing the uniforms, and they're propping their sons and their husbands up and their brothers up. And you have to understand that, they're a part of it too. Sometimes they are even more racist than what the men are.
It's like that film you told me to watch on Netflix, The Family. The women back up their men 100%. But when I say I'm a feminist, I know what I stand for. And you're absolutely right. According to history, we had nothing. It's basically go for the white women. White women got everything first. We were just back there. And just like the Me Too movement, it was taken right under our nose. As a matter of fact, not even under our nose. They took over.
Yes.
So I understand what you're saying. When I say I'm a feminist, I truly believe in what I stand for is for my people and I will be there. I'm not trying to put somebody in jail because of X, Y, and Z. I just want them to know I deserve equal pay. We get less money for the same work like a white woman, and I can go on and on.
Absolutely. No, and you stand on your square, baby. I full-heartedly believe in what you're saying, but I just want the people to understand as well of what that means, because they're pushing a different agenda of what Carrie, may have in your mind or your perspective of what it means to be a feminist. You know what I'm saying? What's your take on it, Alex?
You know, that's powerful, and it's funny because my mother is white. She's Caucasian, and my father is Black, African American. However, I still see things for what they are. Let me let that be said on the record. So even with the feminist movement, that wasn't for our women. That was for white women. And it was, we were trying to get basic civil rights, civil, well-mannered, you know, human, be treated, wages, all that. So when it was infiltrated, it separated the families. We weren't supposed to be against our men. So, Quan, you said something powerful for this now to be a new age protest to look at Black men as predators nationally and have it be remixed, another tactic, is just crazy. So again, it brings it back to having a power move like this. What's it going to do for our people? How is it going to generate economic stability?
Like, do you think the whole movement with social activism when it comes to the Black community, do you think that the agenda that we're pushing right now is going to move us forward? I asked that question earlier, but I want to reiterate this question. And for those of you that are joining us, we're discussing right now the Jay-Z NFL partnership deal. And if you'd like to share, and subscribe, we really appreciate it. If you want to donate to the platform, please do so through Super Chat or PayPal or Cash App. But I do want to ask you ladies this question. Like, I'm always about where we are right now and how we're going to move forward. I mean, it's good to rely on the past and understand our history, but I'm always a firm believer in action, resolution. What can we do right now in this moment to move us forward? So I'd like to get your take on it, ladies.
Yeah, that's a good question, Quan. And you know what? If you want to make it plain, if we're going to move past him silently taking a knee, I mean, what the hell did he even get to say? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So with this position, what is Jay-Z going to say? If you go back and look at clips from the Million Man March back in 95, go look at a clip on YouTube with Dr. Obati Shaka and see how he's standing in that crowd of men and just taught them, spoke to them, elevated them, encouraged them. I don't think that's going to happen with Jay-Z. So again, what is going to be said? What is going to be happening? Because if we're going to get somebody out for taking a knee doing a silent protest, then you can best believe none one of them singers or performers during halftime of the Super Bowl are going to speak out against social injustice or police brutality or anything beneficial for our community. And I'm just saying that plain today. If somebody can't even take a knee and they ain't having no type of verbal communication, do you really foresee and think that this power move is going to implement and elevate our people?
Well, two things. Before you answer, Carrie, two things. Basically, the idea of Cap or any other NFL player taking a knee is considered not being a patriot or not having patriotism. And they always like to wrap the cloak of the American flag and say that, oh, if you kneel, that means you're against patriotism and what this country stands for. And like Dr. Claude Anderson said, it's like, okay, wait a minute. We are the most patriotic people in this country. We were here first. We fought in every war. We've been here before any other minority or people of color, they like to say, which I hate the word in itself, ever landed on this quote unquote land. And, you know, it really pisses me off because I see a lot of people just being very, you know, in denial about what they're really standing for. And what they do is they say, oh, well, since he's kneeling, oh, well, he's against the American flag and our military. No, my dad is in the military, so was in the military. No, that's not what it means. And since when does the national anthem represent the military? At what point, like what kind of games does white supremacy play? Like at what point did that become the whole idealism of what it means to be a patriot. Because if you ask me and many scholars like Dr. Clark Anderson, we are the most patriotic Black people in this, our people in this country, and it's Black people. You know, we stand, we fought, we've built this country for free, and other people have benefited financially from it, including the NFL. So what's your take on it, ladies?
Yes, we continue. I mean, I'm more like Alex. I look at numbers, and when I do my little research and stuff, we are vocal as a Black people in this country. We do stand up for what we need to do. Right. You see Twitter, 28%, Instagram, 43%, Snapchat, 25%. We are there. I think what he doesn't realize is it's a difference. Now we more vocal. So just like we have on this platform, we speaking about it. Back then, you would probably have to go to a meeting somewhere in the community, find out what to do, how to do it. But nowadays, he's going to feel it. I believe that we're going to get together, shut things down. Whether we go to an NFL game, whether we don't buy his music, because I'm sure he's going to do another album. If he's like 50 years old, he's probably going to come out with another album. We have to shut things down. We have to stick together. Whether it's going to be 40 or 50 or 30 or 20, or it doesn't matter. I think we're going to shut down. If he don't speak up within the next couple of months, we're going to start realizing that he's not for us. And we don't need to hold him accountable. We need to hold ourselves. Stop buying his music. Stop going to an NFL game. Whatever you have to do to take a stand. And that's my take on it.
Now, I know entertainers, like you said, Alex, we shouldn't look at them as activists, but at the same time, if you are standing on issues when it comes to the Black community, you naturally, automatically make yourself an activist. When you use your platform for political ideas and ideologies, you automatically cloak yourself into what we're fighting for. And sometimes you're right. There's some people who, by God, I would never support because it's just their stance is just ridiculous. But at the same time, too, in the case with Jay-Z, when he threw himself in the middle of it by telling people to protest, and I would cap wearing the jerseys, and you don't need me. I mean, I don't need you. You need me, and all this other bull crap. And it's just like, okay, bro, now you've become the voice of this. You're the face now. You're the mascot of what this means. You know what I mean? What's your take on it, Alex? And Carrie?
I don't know. The whole thing is just getting exhausting. I mean,
yes, it is.
Let's bring it back to Trump. I mean, why ain't Trump get put out the White House for saying he grabs women by the pussy? I mean, if that's how you feel about all us, and we ain't doing nothing about that, what's really going to happen? I just think the whole thing is just a mess. I really hope that something beneficial comes out of it. I hope that there's some type of programs implemented nationwide that maybe have funding from a percent of maybe NFL players can give a small portion of some type of tithe through his new nonprofit program that he has that go towards the Boys and Girls Club or Flip Water System. Or I just want to see the benefit. Like, if you're going to make a bold move like this, I just hope that it's tactful. I just don't see Jay-Z as being some coon sellout, shucking, jiving, tap dancing. You know what I'm saying? There has to be something behind this. But again,
what if there's not? Then what? What if there's no political gain or moving us forward? It's all about just getting the bag. What if that's the case? Then what?
Then if we all stopped watching the NFL, right, and if all of our men stopped playing for the NFL, aka not for long, then what would happen to entertainment? But he was crafty positioning himself because he can be in that position for the rest of his life. Players usually got 5 to 10 years, so no matter what, he's solidified.
Because I'm just. You're right. You say that this is exhausting, it's like beating a dead horse, but just imagine how the NFL players who all took a stance in kneeling. Just imagine how they're feeling, how exhausted this may be to them, right? Because as a woman, I'm looking at them. They're supposed to be our strength, our power, and I'm quite sure they get tired too, you know. But like Nipsey says, the marathon continues. We don't just give up because we're tired or we're exhausted. But I understand too that for some, it may be exhausting, but for others, it's like, wait a minute, no, we haven't changed anything. So
Well, how about this, Quan? How about this, Quan? How about this, Carrie? The same way Jay-Z said, you know, we're past that. I'm about solutions. What do we do next? Well, how about I throw this Dr. John Henrik Clarke quote out there? If a people doesn't know where they're going, they won't know who will lead them.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct with that, my friend. You are absolutely correct. Like I again,
you are absolutely right.
I believe in solutions. You know, I believe in we as a people, not only from a political standpoint, but from a financial, educational, you know, medical, spiritual, we all need to be pushing and moving forward. Like we all need to have an answer for the injustice put on us by white supremacy. And I think right now it's time more than ever. Like this is our time right now. You know, this is our Jubilee year. This is our time to really make a difference, push, move, fight, and do everything we need to do, because I'm quite sure we're supported by our ancestors. So I truly honestly believe that it doesn't just start by looking at Jay-Z or whatever, because honestly I don't see him as a leader. I really don't. That's just my humble opinion. You know, he's a great artist, but I don't see him as a leader, although he's positioned as a leader. But I just believe that we from all across the board, all avenues need to really push this thing forward. And it's going to take all of us. It's not going to just be one person doing it and with his bullhorn. It's going to take all of us, because everybody has something to bring to the table.
That's
you
right.
know what I'm saying? Everybody does.
Yeah, I agree with that too, Quan. I agree with that too, Carrie. And again, you know, why are entertainers our political voice? I mean, for the Asian community, they don't have entertainers for their specific political voice. You know, in the Hispanic community, they don't have entertainers for their political voice. Why do we resort for entertainers to give us our own ideologies of what's right and wrong to be implemented politically? You know what I'm saying? So again, we need a code. We need that black code, because we're all on different pages. And if we don't get on code to know how to run economically, socially, then we will have entertainers for our social face of justice reform.
But I have to say that some entertainers know what they talk about. They know what they stand for. We can't say all. Some. You're absolutely correct. Why do we go and turn to them? Because most of them, their focal point in life is to get that dollar. It's money. But you have those, like I stated earlier, in the 60s who sacrificed. You have entertainers that were blacklisted, blackballed. You have those that we can't stand and say, you know what, I'm going with so-and-so, Harry Belafonte. I'm going with this person, because they know what they're talking about. So I think that.
Yeah, I think why we as a people look at our entertainers as the voice of reason, or our bullhorn, is primarily because they have the platform, right? And a lot of people, they dream and fantasize about being a celebrity and the money and the fame and all the glory that comes with that. So yes, they do, because I mean, they literally look at them as an idol. They, you know, oh, I want to be this person. Oh, this person is so beautiful. Or this person is so rich. I want to be just like them. And people put them on a platform because, again, they are the most vocal. They have the most eyes on them. You know, and that's why we look to our entertainers for you know, that quote unquote voice of reasoning. But I look at the Dick Gregory's.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The Moniques. You get what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of people, our entertainers, that really did, like the Muhammad Ali's, like that really did put for, you know, the Sam Cooks. I can go on and on and on about
John
people.
Tommy Smith. We could go on and on. Jackie Robinson.
Exactly. That the ones who really did fought for us from a political standpoint. So yes, you do have the ones that do, but it's like there's some people who I would look at and be like, are you serious? Like,
for real.
You're embarrassing us. Sit down, have several seats, you know. But again, ladies, I just want to wrap this thing up and get your final take on everything, and we're going to close out tonight.
Yeah, great perspective, and shout out to those who are speaking out righteously for our people and implementing Black Power messages, Black Pride messages, Black culture messages. Shout out to T.I., Grand Hustle. So there are people who are doing the right thing and putting their careers and livelihood and, you know, longevity on the line for saying the right thing. But again, I really hope that all the benefits that Jay-Z sees or wants to implement come into fruition. I just don't think that it could have went this way. It could have went differently. To sum it up, I think Colin should have been in that room with him with his job back, and I think he should be a part of what happened. And because that didn't take place, I just don't think it was a good move.
Right. I'm with you, Alex. You finished that?
Yep.
Okay, mine's is just basically a couple of questions. Like for the youth who's listening, who's watching him, Jay-Z, there's going to be someone in that room, in that bedroom, watching, listening to the conference. I just want him to realize that we have to ask these questions. Like, what is he willing to do to help the community? Is he willing to give back? I don't want to wait another year. I need him to speak up. Is he someone we should look up to? Is he going to make a difference? If he really going to make a social change? Because we need that. Like you stated, there's things going on now in our community. Black people getting shot left to right. Speak up. Just speak up. That's all I can say.
I think to close out, I think what we've been focusing on for the last couple of weeks, this all has a common thread. You know, this whole idea, and you're right, Alex, we all need to get back on this whole quote unquote black code, because our legacy is going to really be dependent on what we do from now, this day forward. And I think as a people, we need to get on code and on page, both from a political standpoint, financial, educational, spiritual, metaphysical, all of that, our health. You know, we need to get on page and push this same agenda. Yes, we're going to have different ideologies, but at the end of the day, we should all be about front and all have the same message. And right now, I'm not seeing it, and it concerns me as a Black woman. And I just really want us to push that agenda forward, you know, so that one, we can beat white supremacy. Two, we can prosper financially. Three, we can get back to our Africanness, our spirituality. Three, we can be educated and educate ourselves and educate our children. But I just really want us all to know what that's going to take, and just put away all the egos and realize that, hey, guys, we got to get on board. We got to push this message. You know, wrong, indifferent, or right. We got to stand by one another and not try to, you know, take out one another or do despiteful things to one another just to get the bag. That's what's key. What are you doing? You know, what is your message? You are a walking, talking billboard. What is your message saying to the people and to your legacy that's going to come behind you? So, ladies, I want to thank you again. Thank you, Professor Griff, for allowing us to get on this platform. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you guys would like to participate in the emergency preparedness class that's coming up on the 29th, you can do so by submitting your $25 payment on PayPal to Professor Griff. We also ask that you guys join us again on Thursday night, and we're going to further discuss this whole idea of activism. So we just thank you. Peace, family. We love you.
Thank you. Respect, everyone.